For this video, we are going to be discussing reflections. So a reflection is just a transformation that creates a mirror image of a shape over a line, and we're calling that line a line of reflection. And we can also think of a reflection as just being a flip, because if you think, what we're doing is if I've got a point and I'm reflecting it over a line, I'm simply flipping it over that line to get my new point. Okay, and we are specifically going to be using 4 different lines as our lines of reflection. We're going to be using the x-axis, the y-axis, the line y equals x, and the line y equals negative x. Those are going to be the 4 lines of reflection that we're going to use for this unit. So, let's talk about how these work. If we've got a reflection that goes over the y-axis, it changes the x-coordinate. Okay, you're always going to notice that for the 2 axes, whichever one you flip it over, it changes the other one. So if I reflect over the y-axis, the x changes, and all that happens is the sign changes. So if I start with the point xy, reflect it over the y-axis, I get the point negative xy. Similarly, if I reflect over the x-axis, then it's the y value that changes. xy goes to x negative y. All right. When we reflect over y equals x, what happens is the coordinates just switch. xy goes to yx. And if I reflect over y equals, this should not be this should be y equals negative x. If I reflect over y equals negative x, that both switches the coordinates and changes the signs. So xy goes to negative y, negative x. So let's take a look at how this looks. All right, if I've got m is 2, 4, and I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis, I know that changes the y-coordinate. So 2, 4 becomes 2, negative 4. All right, all I do is change that one coordinate. If I reflect it over the y-axis, then the x-coordinate changes, so it becomes negative 2, positive 4. If I reflect it over y equals x, my coordinates switch, so it becomes 4, 2. And if I reflect it over y equals negative x, the coordinates not only switch, but also the signs change. Negative 4, negative 2. And that's how we do each one of our 4 reflections. So I'd like you to do is pause the video here, and why don't you try doing these 4, and then I'll come back and give you the answers. So now that you've tried it, let's go ahead and do this. All right, if I'm going to reflect negative 1, negative 4 over the x-axis, that becomes negative 1, positive 4. Over the y-axis, I get positive 1, negative 4. Over y equals x, I get negative 4, negative 1. And over y equals negative x, I get 4, 1. There we go. So let's look at some more examples. This problem says, find the coordinates of b prime if the point b, 10, negative 2, is reflected over the y-axis. Well, since it's y-axis, I know that xy is going to go to negative x, positive y. Since it's going over the y, the x changes. So if b is at 10, negative 2, then I'm going to b prime at negative 10, negative 2. That is our answer. Okay, let's take a look at another example. It says, reflect this triangle over the x-axis. Okay, so I know I'm going to be flipping this down here, and this will give you a good idea of what this looks like. If m is at 5, negative 5, I know that my xy, since I'm going over the x, is going to become x negative y. So 5, 5 is going to go to 5, negative 5. So here's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's m prime. N is at 9, 8, so it's going to go to 9, negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's n prime. And P is at 15, 5, so it's going to 15, negative 5. There's P prime. Now all I need to do is connect my 3 points with a line, with lines, to form my triangle, which you should see is just a mirror image of the top triangle. All we need to do. All right, example 3 says rectangle ABCD has vertices at these 4 points. I want to find the coordinates of the image if ABCD is reflected over y equals x. So we know for y equals x, we're going from x, y. We're just going to be switching our coordinates around to y, x. So let's go ahead and do that. 2, 7 becomes 7, 2. 2, 3 becomes 3, 2. 6, 3 becomes 3, 6. And 6, 7 becomes 7, 6. That's all we have to do is just flip the sign, or flip the coordinates on that one. So that's what reflections are. Your try it problem for tonight is triangle ABC has vertices at 1, 4, 3, 7, and 6, 0. If the triangle is reflected over the x-axis, what are the coordinates of A prime, B prime, and C prime?